A single, what is it?
It's whatever you just said, sweetie. It's fine.
Okay. Dating while being, no.
It's single, dating, and getting married. Okay, that's fine.
Okay. All right, let's count down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Welcome back to The Real. I am Nadine, and this is
Jason. Hello.
And we just want to say thank you so much for all the love and all the support. So we are here today to discuss a juicy topic.
Yes, we are.
And husband is going to answer all the questions. And of course, I am going to interview him. And we're going to talk about single dating and getting married. Because I know as a female that a lot of females want to know what it is that a guy is looking for in a woman, or what it is that they're looking for before they get married. So husband is in the hot seat today. Right. So husband, let's ask some questions. So we had a question from one of our juicy subscriber. So she asked, what are some habits couples should not enter into a relationship / marriage with?
What are some habits?
Yes.
I guess what are some habits the individual shouldn't enter into it with?
Right.
I mean, poor communication is not a good one to go into it with. You want to be able to have an open conversation, open dialogue with your significant other.
Correct.
Communication is one of those pillars. You know, I gave a speech at my best friend's wedding, and I said that there were 3 things that need to happen in a relationship, and that's communication, money, and intimacy. I was trying to see if I was going to be able to put them all with the same letter. That's what that hesitation was. So yeah, you got to have communication. Selfishness is another thing you'll want to kind of check at the door. You don't want to really bring that into a relationship. You'll realize and discover, like I did, that I was very selfish as I entered marriage. And I see that from time to time still. And then the last thing is, I don't know, you'll want to pay attention to your significant other. You don't want to be looking all around and looking at other people. Those are not good qualities to go into it with. You want to go into it knowing that this is the person that you're with is who you want to be with.
Right. Good. Thank you. Another question. While dating to get married, should you have an accountability partner or someone to be accountable to?
Yes, you should have some kind of accountability partner or accountability partners. There's power in numbers.
True.
I think that the more you have, the better. And if you're anything like me, you don't want people in your business. And that's understandable. And that's why you've got to pick the right people. You've got to pick the right people that are mature enough to understand where you are and what could happen in a relationship. They've got to be a confidant that will be willing to cover you and obviously tell you no. Right, I think when you're dating, you'll find out who your real friends are because real friends won't just let you do whatever you want.
That's true.
Real friends would say, hey, you're going down the wrong line, or maybe this person's not for you, or something. But they may give you hard news that you don't want to hear.
Good.
So I think that you should have accountability partners.
Good. And just to add to that, listen, I will say, if you need help, you will definitely get someone, because the thing is, you don't want to mess up, right? And you need somebody where you can talk to, and if you feel like you want to mess up, you have that person that you can run to and just, that phone call and like, listen, I'm tempted. I'm tempted to do this. Can you pray for me, or can I come over? So I'm saying, yes, you need someone or someones, right? More than one people just to be accountable to, because it is not an easy road to walk. without messing up by yourself, I should say. So you need other people. You need that strength. And like husband said, there is power in numbers. So I would say definitely. So let me ask this. What is guys, are I should say, what are guys looking for in a female before they get married?
So before I answer that question, or before I answer any further questions, let me say that I'm one man, one male, and my answers will not suffice for every single man in the world. Will not suffice for every church guy, will not suffice for every black man.
Correct.
So what are guys looking for? Guys are looking for, I think, a wife who is submissive, who is attractive, and and who can be a lady outside of the bedroom and maybe not so much a lady on the inside of the bedroom. That's it. That's I think that sums it up.
That sums it up? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you said something about submissive, and I know for a lot of females, that's a tough thing for them.
Right.
Because, a lot of females today, they're very independent, and they look at submissive as, okay, I'm going to do everything that my husband say to do, and just enlighten us on that. What is your definition, or what is the correct definition for submission? Or to be submissive to your husband?
I mean, I think I won't necessarily define it. I'll just say submission is not slavery. I think that will clarify it as much as you need to. Submission is, there is a decision to be made. Maybe the male who we believe is the head of the household feels one way and feels that after seeking God's face, that's the way he should go or bring the family. Okay. The woman may want to. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it with those words. May want to submit to what he's saying, even though all my friends are here, or I like it better here, or I like this house versus this house. Submission would be to say, okay, we'll go with that. It's a form of compromise, knowing that the person you're submitting to loves you. Right. They're not making a decision or doing anything that would harm you. Okay. Versus slavery, which is kind of like, I say do this and you do it. You don't ask. There's no conversation. I say you do, and that's not what submission is. Right.
Correct. All right. So we're in 2020 and 2021 rather, and a lot of females believe that they should pursue if they see a guy, they should pursue them and go as far as asking that guy to marry them. Mm-hmm. What is your perspective on that? Should the 21st century female assume that role?
I think everyone, if we were playing basketball, everyone is shooting their shot, right? Everyone is feeling the need to put the ball in the hole, so to speak. Okay. It's up to the female. Every guy is different. Again, I'm just one guy. I personally would not like that. Okay. I prefer to be the one going after the woman. Okay. But there are guys who are shy. There are guys who won't get a hint, who can't take that you're flirting with them or that you're interested in them. There's guys who may have been put down in the past. I've said that church girls can be the hardest demographic to put a guy down. They put you down on a different level. Right. And they may throw God in the mix and a number of other things that just don't make a guy feel good. So he may not know. He may want to approach you, not approach you, be nervous to approach you, and then you may have to approach him. Now, as for the proposal, I guess I'm still old school because as radical as I am, I'm not here for it. But if it works for you, it works for you. It works for you. I'll say that. Okay. I'll leave it at that because I don't want to disrespect anybody who's out there and thinking about it, or any woman who thinks that they want to do it. It can't be done. It may work for your relationship. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's got to start on a bad foot. And we are in 2021. So.
Well, so let's do it. What does the Bible say about it, though? What because we're Christians and we
Correct.
are governed
Correct.
by the Word of God. So,
Well, the Bible still says, for this shall a man leave his parents and cleave to his wife. So the Bible is very clear that it should be the man coming to the woman.
right.
I think that is the best thing. Yeah. I think that's the best thing. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right. So, let's see. Husband, do you think that females, well, today's female, they are a little bit too much for guys? Because you have too much, as in you have some, we're strong. I'm a strong Black woman. And there's a lot of strong women. They don't, Black, white, women are just strong today. And a lot of women, it's all about the woman empowerment and the woman movement. What is your take on that? Should we be a little bit more, I don't want to say like a little bit more reserved, because if you're strong and a woman, then you can't really be really more reserved. But what advice would you give a strong woman when it comes to guys?
So there are different kinds of strengths, and anyone who knows anything about strength in any way knows that you can't use strength all the time. You can't use brute force all the time. Sometimes you may have to use your strength in spurts. Sometimes it may be strength over time. And I think sometimes women can tend to want to be all of it right now.
Wow.
And that can be a bit much for males. And I'll tell you, males get annoyed very quickly. We get very, very annoyed very quickly. And I'll let y'all in on another secret. I think I told y'all a secret. I told y'all a secret in the last episode, so I'll let you in on another secret here too. Men have egos that can easily be bruised. All right, so we talk about females being emotional all the time. And I don't think that it's that males are emotional, but we are protective of our egos.
Right.
And so if we feel we can do it, we find out we're wrong. The last thing we're trying to hear is, see, I told you if you blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Or do it this way, and we're like, no, I'm trying to figure it out. Let's try to do it this way. Sometimes a female will know the answer, and the answer will be right.
Correct.
That may not be the time to be like, see, I told you so.
Okay.
And so about that strength, I think maybe if you're reserved a little bit more at times, I'm not saying to subdue yourself. You have to be yourself.
Correct.
Going into a relationship. You've got to be as authentic to yourself as you can be, but you need to know your mate as well. And I think you can taper that appropriately. I will say that I feel, I don't want us to get in trouble with any feminists or anything like that. It's not that I believe in roles or anything like that. I do know that some of that independent woman thing has killed some of our community, has killed some of the family structure.
Wow.
And it goes back to just knowing when with strength. Okay, you can be a strong single mom.
Right.
Be everything for your kids, whatever the case is. And then a man come in your life, and it's okay to let go of some of that strength. You were strong because you didn't have someone else. Now it might be okay to let go of some of that strength. And no one is going to take you for being weak.
Right, correct.
I think it's all about when. It's not that you can't do it. I think one thing that women are better at than men are is just becoming whatever they need to become for that season. But sometimes it's time to put that away and just allow a man to be a man.
To be a man. Yeah, I feel like there was some shade being thrown my way. Like, woo!
That's why they make those sunglasses.
But yeah, I agree totally. And something you said that I also I agree with, and saying that as women, we sometimes have to know when. And it's not saying that we're weak. We're not weak. We just have to know when and how to allow our husband or your husband to be when to be the man and the head of the household, because it's nothing wrong with being strong, like you said. It's just being able to say, okay, I need to relax a little bit and let him lead, and trust that he knows how to lead. So I thank you for that, because that is so true. And also, single females, I would say, again, I said I worked on myself a lot before I got married, and I dated myself. I used to go out by myself and to get dressed up and just go to the movie by myself and go to a restaurant and sit there by myself. And I think it's important to do that, to date yourself, so you know what it is that you're looking for. Absolutely. In your husband and how you want to be treated. It's like, see, guys, they know how to treat us, but as women, we know what we really, really want and how we want to be treated, and what you present is what you will get out, correct? So is what you will get out. So date yourself, take yourself out, treat yourself, go on the vacations, do everything, enjoy being single. I know you're like, oh, but you're married, Nay, you're married, but we just got married like almost 3 years now. So I was single for 10 years. So I know it's like, date yourself, because when you get married, it's not just you anymore. And husband talk about being selfish.
Oh, absolutely.
And you can't be selfish in a marriage. You cannot be selfish, because it's no longer you, but it's to you guys. And I mean, you have to think about the next person. And this is the time, I will say, your singleness is a time to think about yourself, correct? And to be selfish. So I say, take your time and explore everything that you are and everything that you want your husband to be, and make sure that you are not putting all the pressure on the guy when he come in, because you know, a lot of time, right, correct? You want to talk anything about that, being, women putting pressure on and having just this big expectation, because as you know, marriage is not what you think it is, but we come into it a lot of time with this big expectation.
Correct.
And do you want to talk about, what not to expect in a marriage?
So yes, marriage can be a lot of pressure. Females can put a lot of pressure on men. And I've said to my wife, I think the week we were getting married, she's like, aren't you excited? Aren't you happy? And I said, no, I'm not excited and happy. And she's like, why not? I said, no man wants to get married. Like, men don't want to get married. This is not a good thing we're going into. Obviously, marriage is a great thing. But for men, it signifies the end of a cycle, of us, going after women, of us having the opportunity to be with multiple women, or whatever the case is there. And females, you may not want to hear that, but that's the truth. And so when you come in day one and you're already trying to, oh, this is my man, this is, introducing them to family members, that stuff is a lot of stress. And your man, I hate to say this to you, may not be in it for all of that.
Wow.
He may not be in it to be in a long haul. And maybe he is in it for the long haul, but all of that pressure and you showing them all these signs, and you want to pick out dresses and talk about weddings after the 14th date, it might be like, all right, you got to chill out a little bit. And so there's a lot of expectations, I think, that come from society. It comes from these Lifetime movies. It comes from these romantic flicks. Take time. Just get to know the person, and when the time is right, you can move forward. Now, that's not to say that you should date forever. But don't be quick, women, to throw out a man who may be taking his time as well. Wow. It doesn't necessarily mean he'll never marry you. And I see a lot of women like, oh, I just got rid of him, and then he went to somebody else and got married after me. Well, he might have been getting to that point, and you just rushed it because you felt you were wasting prime years, or whatever the case is. It's hard. It's hard to tell, because sometimes it may be, sometimes it may not be. So, yes, don't put too much pressure on us, because men will get scared and run away. We will.
Well, so what if a young lady or a young man dating someone, and they're committed in this relationship, and things happen, like they got physical or give of themselves, and the young man or the young woman break it off and said, I don't want to be with you, and of course they decide that they was going to get married. They talk about it, being married, and even at that point, but then something happened and they just went their separate ways. What would you say to anyone that's listening to this, because I'm sure that a lot of people have experienced that, and it's a betrayal kind of
Absolutely.
feeling.
I mean, if you feel like you're entering into a contract with somebody
Right.
and it was going one direction and then something happened and you
Yeah.
get derailed, I think that those people should allow time to heal that wound. Don't just hate the other person for not holding up, or become all woe is me, pity party, what did I do? Be thankful that it didn't go that way, because maybe it wasn't going to work out, and sometimes people, after being physical, may discover things that they weren't paying attention to before. That whole mystery of not being physical and things like that may be blinding them from other things. And then after that, they may discover things about the other person they didn't like. So don't beat yourself up about it. Definitely pray and ask for forgiveness. Have some good friends who can pour back into you, get you back up. So you don't feel the shame and the guilt and all of those things. Leave it at the altar and give it to Jesus, and take your time to come back. And if that person will allow you to, I would say try to have a closing conversation, because sometimes it just ends with okay, yeah, now we're going to part our own ways. Well, get to know why. Ask some questions as what it was. What is there something that I did? Is it something you did? Is it something you discovered? Because you need those answers for yourself. It's no different than a job interview, and you want to get from the people interviewing you. Where did I mess up? What mistake did I make? So that the next interview, I won't make that same mistake.
Right. Exactly. And also, for the single woman, because that's dating and want to get married, I will caution you and said, just protect yourself and guard your heart. Guard your heart, because it is important that not every guy that comes to you that they mean you well or they want to get married. Husband said something to me a couple of days ago and said, guy will say anything just to get what they want. And they would say anything. So just guard your heart and make sure that the person that you're dating is truly the one that you want to marry. And also, I would say big, and this is big for me, make sure that you're praying. Make sure that you're praying and you're seeking God in everything that you do, and you're seeking God and you're hearing from God. And not only that you're praying, that you're having I will say wise counsel, that you have people that's even older or your age that you can talk to them about the person that you're gonna you believe that you're gonna get married to, or you're dating to get married. So just make sure that you are just being very wise and not giving of yourself, because that right there is a no-no. Although we know it happened and we don't subscribe to premarital sex, we know it happened. And if it do, listen, husband said, don't feel ashamed and don't feel guilty and beat yourself up, but you just go and pray and seek God, and of course repent, and start your work over again, and try not to go down that same road. Correct?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. So in closing, I just want to review a few things real quick, and then we'll let you go on about the rest of your day. Definitely get accountability partner. Get someone, or even a couple. You can get a couple who's not necessarily older in age, but they may be older in how much time they've been married, and say, the two of us are looking to get married, whatever the case is, we want some accountability. You want to be able to be real with those accountability partners.
Yes,
you want them to be able to do things like call you when you're at somewhere that you're not supposed to be.
Yes, important.
When you're having that Netflix and chill and you don't want it to turn into Netflix and children.
Right.
You also want to know females not to put too much pressure on a guy coming in, especially early. As time goes on, you might be able to, you'll know your potential spouse, and you can put a little bit more pressure on them to get the signs. Females, if you choose to, you can go to a gentleman. And he may appreciate that if he's shy or if he was reserved and had feelings about you. You might want to throw it out there. I'll leave that to you. And there's one other thing I wanted to say that I can't remember, but those are the highlights of today's topic. And if there's any other questions we didn't answer that you wanted answered, I would say put them down in the comments. Get at us. Some of you have been sending my wife private messages on the side. No, in all seriousness, continue to do that. It helps us know what we need to address. We have a number of things we want to address ourselves, but we definitely want to hear what you'd like addressed as well. So we'll incorporate both of them and have a happy marriage.
Well, thank you so much for subscribing. And if you're new here, we want to thank you as well. And don't forget to
like, subscribe, share. And after you subscribe, make sure you hit the bell to make sure you're getting all notifications about our videos when they come out.
God bless you, everyone.
Take care.